Hey guys, Angry Monkey here. I decided to do, I guess you can call this my Christmas video. I kind of did the Retro Game Treasure unboxing video yesterday, and that was kind of a Christmas video, but I don't know. I got one of these a little bit ago, mostly inspired because I had the 2003, the winter 2003 advertisement thing for Nintendo, and I wanted to see on what other ones were out there, and I found winter of 2002. So I thought, you know what? Why not for Christmas we go through this book just to see what games were advertised in winter of 2002 going into winter of 2003, the beginning part of 2003. So it's Christmas Eve. It's December 24th, 2022. So let's pretend right now that it's Christmas Eve 2002. By the way, this was a Charlie Brown Snoopy thing that I got in a Wendy's kids meal celebrating Y2K in 1999, and I still kept it because I thought it was pretty cool. Because for one, this calendar goes from 2000, January 1st, 2000 to December 31st, 2009. So I just thought it was pretty cool toy. It used to light up. There used to be a Snoopy thing on there, but for some reason I took that off, and well, naturally it's dead because this toy is 22 years old. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, we are pretending that it is 2002. So why don't we get started? I don't quite know how we're gonna do this, but I'm gonna basically go one page at a time. I'm not going to read it. I'll just basically show off pictures and maybe read like a brief summary type thing. But let's get started. I gotta hug my camera here. So naturally opened up, and you got the table of contents, and then just a bunch of screenshots. Not enough games. Try over 180 by holiday 2002. That's really cool. I wonder what games I recognize. There's Mario Sunshine there. And I know that's Animal Crossing. That's also Mario Sunshine. There's Wind Waker, Animal Crossing again, Mario Sunshine again. Yeah, this the bunch of games there. Actually, you got these two playing on their GameCube, which is going to be the first half of this book is advertising GameCube stuff. So naturally, the first thing they're going to advertise is Metroid Prime. Great game. I remember playing the demo, 2002, like at Target and stuff, and I just never seen a game like that before. But I remember when Metroid Fusion came out on Game Boy Advance, I'm like, what is this side-scrolling Metroid thing? It's supposed to be a first-person, not knowing that that's the original style of like Metroid and Super Metroid. But Metroid Prime is basically like Super Metroid, but first-person. Yes, I do have the whole trilogy. Maybe I'll play it on the channel at some point. Oh, man. Zelda. Oh man, this is before they had the Wind Waker tagline on there. The title of the game is basically like, oh, it's a new Zelda game. It's pretty much all this is advertising. This is another game I remember playing the demo of back in the day, and I thought Link was Zelda. I was one of those kids, and it wasn't until later that year when I was over at somebody's house and we were playing the original Super Smash Brothers on 64, and I'm like, oh, that's not Zelda. That guy's name is Link, and it's a guy. Okay, so that was something that threw me off. Wind Waker, it's not my favorite Zelda game, mostly just because of the Triforce shard hunting thing at the end. Wasn't really a fan of that, but I mean, Wind Waker's still a great game, and there's still parts of it I remember, even though I haven't actually, man, I haven't beaten this one actually, now that I think of it, because I think I kind of gave up when I got to that point of the game. But I mean, I remember the volcano with the little duck girl And I remember the Forest Temple was alright. The Water Temple, which was basically the Temple of Time, was kind of cool. There was an Earth Temple, I remember that. So, I mean, there's definitely parts of it I remember. Naturally, you got, like, King of Red Lions, and you got a bunch of other characters that I remember making a comeback later on in the sequels, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on the DS, which that was actually my first Zelda game that I played myself, was Phantom Hourglass. Resident Evil 0. I don't have this game yet. I don't remember if this is still exclusive to GameCube only, or if they eventually did bring this over to the other consoles as well, but before the mansion, before the disaster, evil is born. Yeah. Actually, now I'm curious. Do I have this game? I do have it. When did I get this? That's the funny thing with having over 1,200 games, is you're like, do I have that game? Oh, I do. When did I get that? So, yeah, I do have that game. Cool. Okay. Star Fox Adventures. Okay, yeah, this game was made by Rare. This was one of Rare's last games that Nintendo made before going to Microsoft. And I remember it was supposed to be a different a game entirely, like Dinosaur Island or whatever. And they decided, you know what, let's make it a Star Fox game. And so it eventually became Star Fox Adventures. And then you have Super Mario Sunshine. Man, I played the demo of this game so much back in when I was in 5th grade. 2002 was a great year. I mean, like it was a fun. I mean, 5th grade was stressful because I had a bunch of classmates that whenever they acted up, we all got more homework. So that wasn't cool. But I mean, there are a lot of memories. And that was kind of when I started getting into video games. It was about 2002. I mean, I knew some games before that point, but that was kind of my first endeavor into games. I remember playing the demo of this. I eventually got it naturally on GameCube, probably 2003 or 4. Great game. Just I love the whole tropical thing. I never beat it because I'm terrible at video games, but still a great game anyway. Animal Crossing. This was this the first Animal Crossing? I'm trying to remember. I know there was something that they planned on doing on the 64, like on the disk drive or something, but this was like the first Animal Crossing that I knew of to exist. Ooh, enjoy additional features by connecting to Game Boy Advance. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can read that. And then you got Wario World. Never played that game, but I did get it recently, a couple years ago recently. 3D platformer. Apparently it didn't go over that well because they never made another Wario World type game ever again. But, I mean, it's really cool to see our sexy fat man in 3D. That's a reference to when we played Mario Party 1, so check that out if you haven't yet. Okay, so those are, like, I guess, the big games of that year. And because now we're just going into a bunch of smaller games, movie-based games and stuff. Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets, that's the 3rd? Bear with me here, I didn't grow up on Harry Potter. My mom thought it was, like, satanic or whatever. But, or was that no. Chamber of Secrets is 2. Prisoner of Azkaban was 3. Something like that. You guys are probably going to yell at me in the comments, but I don't know anything about this game. I know that there was one Harry Potter game that was different on like every platform. If you played on Game Boy Advance, it was this kind of game. If you played it on GameCube, it was this kind of game. Played on Xbox, it was this kind of game. So I don't remember if that was this one or one of the other Harry Potter games that came out during the 6th generation of video games. Followed by Vex, which I have never heard of this one, actually. I mean, it looks interesting, though. When his homeland of Astara is invaded and enslaved by the ruthless and sinister overlord Dark Yabu, Vex wants nothing more than freedom, but when Yabu murders his grandfather, Vex wants nothing more than revenge. With a pair of powerful Astani war talons fused to his hands and his allies Darby and Rhea by his side, Vex is ready for adventure. Adventure is exactly what awaits. Published by Acclaim. Yeah, it looks interesting. Dragon's Lair 3D. I didn't know this existed either. When I think of Dragon's Lair, I think of the arcade game. I know they made one on NES back in the day. I think it was NES, or was it Super? And it wasn't that good. Rugrats Royal Ransom. Looks like a cute game. Jimmy Neutron. I know that the company, THQ, that made all these Nickelodeon games during this generation were usually pretty good. Like, they made the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, and that game is beloved by so many people. I know they made the Nicktoons Unites games. I think they also made, did they make Tak and the Power of Juju games too? I could be wrong on that, but that was... THQ is pretty good at making Nickelodeon games and make them fun. Monsters Inc. Scream Arena. I guess it's like a Monsters Inc. fighting game. Yeah, Mike wins. That's pretty cool. Crash, Wrath of Cortex. This was actually my first GameCube game. This and Smash Brothers were my first two GameCube games I got for Christmas in 2003. So, I got some fun memories there. Oh, advertising the Wavebird. Yeah. Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly. I've got that on PS2. But I haven't played really any of the Spyro games outside of like one of the originals on PlayStation, like the original PlayStation. And yeah, I mean it's a classic. I mean everybody knows Spyro. At least every kid back in the early 2000s knew who Spyro was. Yeah, solid games there. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. This was pretty much right before I got into Star Wars, so I never played this, but that's pretty cool. You play as Jango Fett, because naturally that would have been around the time of Attack of the Clones, because that was 2002, I think. Yeah, that looks like a pretty cool game too. And then Frogger Beyond. Yeah, I don't know anything about that Frogger game. I only know of the original. Star Wars Clone Wars. I do remember playing this. I haven't touched it since 2006, and the only way I know that is because when you boot up the GameCube, sometimes certain games would have the last time you played it, and mine was 2006. That was before I entered high school. It wasn't even a bad game. It was a decent game. When I got this, I was really hoping for something that was similar to Star Wars Battlefront, because I was playing that at a friend's house, and that was like one of the greatest games I ever played. And I thought, well, maybe if I get Star Wars Clone Wars, it'll be a similar experience, and it wasn't. So I was a little disappointed in that regard, but it was still a fun game. Defender, naturally an arcade classic that was redone on GameCube and 3D visuals. SpongeBob, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I got this on Game Boy Advance, so it's naturally a different style, because naturally the Game Boy Advance version is 2D platformer versus a 3D game. Scooby-Doo, Night of 100 Frights. I mean, it's made by THQ, so it's probably a decent game. I grew up on Scooby-Doo, but I didn't grow up on this game. I don't really know anything about it, but who knows? Maybe this is one of your childhood favorites. Yeah, if you see one of these games in here that's like, oh man, that was my favorite game as a kid, yeah, post that in the comments below. Get a conversation going. Introduce me to something I've never played before. X-Men Wolverine's Revenge. I might have that on PS2. I don't remember. Cubics, Robots for Everyone Showdown. That's probably one of those expensive games. I don't know anything about that, but it's probably one of those expensive games. Rayman Arena, and then Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3. Those were both remakes or ports from PlayStation, and they brought them on GameCube, probably because of Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 0, so they decided to just start bringing over a bunch of the older Resident Evil games. I don't think they did anything different with the graphics, but you can play them on GameCube now. Namco Museum. It's a classic game where you can play Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Pole Position, Dig Dug, and a bunch of other great Namco arcade games. And then Sonic Mega Collection. This was a good game. I actually don't have this game, but I know what it is. Naturally, it's a just a compilation of the Genesis Sonic games. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles. They might have had a couple of the smaller games. I know they don't have CD because that's on the Gems collection. But I think they had a couple smaller games too. But basically, the big highlights were, of course, the main 4 Genesis Sonic games. I think they might have had Sonic 3D Blast on there as well. I think, but I'm not sure. But they also had a bunch of, like, I think they had the Sonic Boom song, basically the intro to Sonic CD. I think they might have had that on there, and like a couple of other what do you call it? Just extras and videos and stuff. So it was a pretty cool collection. 1080 Avalanche. Before it was called Avalanche, just 1080. Oh, that was a fun game. We did a one-off on the channel, and I'd like to get back to it. But this is the sequel to the Nintendo 64. But I'd love to get back to Avalanche. Played that demo a lot as a kid, and it was a lot of fun. Kelly Slater's Pro Surfer. Don't know anything about that. Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2. Don't know anything about that one either. Now, Tony Hawk. Of course, everybody knows Tony Hawk. And Pro Skater. That's a fun series. I think I've got Pro Skater 4 on original Xbox. And then Big Air Freestyle. Looks like a dirt bike kind of game. So this is kind of the sports page. Oh, and sports continues with Beach Spikers and Freestyle and Aggressive Inline, another skateboarding game, I guess. And Swingers Golf. That one's only for GameCube, huh? Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm not big on golf games, but yeah, if it's good, then it's good. Mortal Kombat! Dark Alliance. I know I've got that. I think I have that on PS2. But just another classic Mortal Kombat game. Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters. I've got one of the Godzilla games. I don't think it's that one. Maybe it is. Yeah. Okay, that was the one. Yeah, this game's pretty cool. It's a Godzilla fighting game with all your favorite Godzilla monsters duking it out. It's pretty cool. Obviously, it got player's choice, so that means it's good. And it's only on GameCube. Picked this up earlier this year. When I saw the AVGN, he was going through a bunch of Godzilla games. And he's like, where's a good Godzilla fighting game? And at the end of it, he showed a bunch of them. And he's like, where were these when I was a kid? And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I got to pick this one up. So, I did. We got another X-Men game. I don't know anything about this one. Is it a fighting game? It looks like a fighting game, so that one might be good too. Black and Bruised. It's like a boxing game. Maybe like a spiritual successor to Punch-Out, maybe? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, yeah, probably not. We got Star Wars, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. Lose yourself in an evolving Star Wars story that spans memorable locations such as Yavin 4 and Bespin from the original movie trilogy. Okay. So is it like RPG style? Like, oh, what is that game called? On original Xbox, the RPG one. Knights of the Old Republic. There we go. I had to look over. Die Hard Vendetta. I know there was one of the Die Hard games, like maybe a Die Hard arcade game that looked pretty good. I don't know if this is similar to that, but like remade or what. I don't know anything about that, but 007 Nightfire. That one's a good game. I think I've got that one on GameCube. Yes, I do. Yeah, that one's a good game. I remember Kajinama sold me that one, and yeah, that one's pretty cool. Medal of Honor Frontline. I think I got that on PS2. Just a classic Medal of Honor game. Time Splitters 2. I've got Time Splitters 1 and 2 on original Xbox. Very interesting game of like... I remember in one of the levels, I think it's like the first level maybe, where you come across a locked door and yourself from the future drops you down the key. So then you unlock the door and you run upstairs to then drop the key to your past self. So it's really interesting, like the whole time travel mechanics they put in that game. Yeah, that's a fun game. I don't know what to expect in the second one, but I remember the first one was pretty cool. Turok Evolution. I remember playing this one back in like early high school days. A friend gave it to me because it's, I don't know, you're shooting dinosaurs, so that's pretty cool. Turok always threw me off though, because before knowing that it was spelled this way and all that stuff, I'm like, Turok? You mean like the Bionicle? Because that's what I think of when I think of Turok, but no, it's a dinosaur game, not at all involving Bionicles. Okay. Disney All-Stars Sports Football and Disney All-Stars Sports Basketball and Soccer and Skateboarding. Okay. Mario Party 4, we're going through that on the channel right now, so if you want to see us play through Mario Party 4, you definitely need to check that out. Oh, Super Monkey Ball 2. I didn't play 2 as much as the first one, but I love the first game. The first Monkey Ball is one of my all-time favorite games on the GameCube. I just never seen anything like it. Second one's probably better in every way. But, yeah, Monkey Ball is a lot of fun. And F-Zero. Oh, man. That was before they gave it the GX title. Yeah, this is the best F-Zero game in the series, and pretty much the last one. I mean, they had a couple on GameCube or Game Boy Advance, but yeah, this is the last of the F-Zero games. That's really sad. I mean, it's a good thing that this one is as amazing as it was, so that way it went out strong. But it's also sad that that it's the last one. NASCAR Thunder 2003, and Dirt to Daytona, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. I think I have Hot Pursuit 2. Yeah, these two just being... I'm not big on the whole NASCAR thing, but I mean, Need for Speed, that's a fun game. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. I picked that up earlier this year. I'd love to play it. Kajinama described the whole process of how we would record it, and it sounds like an absolute train wreck to do, so we probably won't do it. But basically, in order for us to record Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles correctly is the same as if we did Four Swords Adventures on GameCube, Zelda, where we need a GameCube with four Game Boy... No, we need a GameCube with four GameCubes hooked up to it acting as Game Boy Advances. So basically like four GameCubes with the Game Boy Advance player on the bottom of it. And those are all connected to a single GameCube. And we have to have all 5 screens recorded at once. So it's, I don't know how we do that, but I'd love to play it though. Evolution Worlds, never heard of that, but it's exclusive to GameCube. Phantasy Star Online, that's a game that Citrus and Kaj have both wanted to play on the channel for quite a while. Like, I think we even built our characters so that way we don't have to worry about doing that. Yeah, that's a game we might play at some point, probably after we do probably Tales of Symphonia and probably a few games that are requested. I don't know, but I know that's one they've been wanting for a while. Skies of Arcadia, classic game made by Sega. Kaj sold that game to me a few years ago. I remember Citrus saying that one of the levels in Monkey Ball has a Skies of Arcadia look, which probably makes sense. I mean, it probably was. I mean, it is made by Sega. I don't know if you can read that, but it's made by Sega. All-Star Baseball 2004, MLB Slugfest 2003, NBA 2K3, NBA Live 2003. I'm not big on sports games, so I don't really have anything to say on these. Madden 2003, NFL 2K3, Tiger Woods PGA 2003. I've got 2004. Somebody gave me 2004. It's fun. You build your character. That's pretty cool. NHL 2003. NHL Blitz 2003, NHL 2K3, FIFA 2003, Knockout Rinks 2003. Yeah. And, oh man, we are at the end of the GameCube section, because coming up next is Game Boy Advance, which, both of these consoles were only a year old, because both those consoles came out in 2001. So this is still relatively early in both their lives, but think about how many amazing games were already out or announced just in their first year. GameCube had such a strong lineup. Game Boy Advance did too. Oh man, we're starting off pretty strong here with Metroid Fusion. Samus returns in an all-new Metroid adventure. Yeah, I remember, I mean, I told you guys about this one, going through Metroid Prime. And then we have Zelda Link to the Past with Four Swords, which I never played Four Swords, but Link to the Past is, I mean, it's Link to the Past. I mean, as far as the original style of Zelda, Link to the Past is the best Zelda game on the traditional style, at least until Link Between Worlds, because Link Between Worlds was just mind-blowing amazing, at least to me. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, I don't have that game, actually. I don't think I do. I don't think I have any Kirby Game Boy Advance games. That's really sad. Yoshi's Island, Mario Advance 3. It was really weird how they did the numbering systems. Like, Super Mario Advance was like Super Mario 2. Super Mario Advance 2 was Super Mario World. Super Mario Advance 3 was Yoshi's Island. And Super Mario Advance 4 was Super Mario Brothers 3. Just all over the place. But, I mean, they're all great games. And it's really cool to have a way to play Yoshi's Island on the go. So, I mean, this was still a great game. Hamtaro, I don't know anything about this game. I remember I watched the anime when I was a kid, but that's about it. Tarzan, Return to the Jungle, I don't know anything about this game either. Harry Potter, Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, it's a completely different style than the GameCube game, of course. Bionicle Matoran Adventures. I don't have this game. I don't even remember this game existing. So, I'll have to get that. Because I know I got the first Bionicle game on Game Boy Advance. That was my first Game Boy Advance game. But that was probably already out when... This was probably like their second game or whatever. Contra Advance. Is this a remake or is this another thing in the series? Featuring all new levels and graphics from the original Super Nintendo hit. Okay. That's really cool, because I don't have Contra on Super. I only have Contra 1 and Super Contra on NES. Those are the only two I have. So yeah, I got to get this game too. Frogger Adventures 2, The Lost Wand. I don't know anything about that game. Castlevania. Nearly 50 years had passed since Simon Belmont rescued the land from the curse of Dracula. Now Simon's descendant, Justy Belmont, must acquire the relics of Dracula to unravel the disappearance of his childhood friend Liddy. With beautiful graphics, all new spell fusion attack system, and new level-up RPG elements, Castlevania's enhancing mysteries and danger awaits all those who dare enter. Yeah, that one looks really cool too. I'd love to get that game. Star Wars: The New Droid Army. Looks okay. Jimmy Neutron versus Jimmy Negatron. I don't know anything about this game. I mean, I grew up on Jimmy Neutron, but I don't remember this game at all. And of course, we have a couple guys with their link cables. Revenge of Shinobi. Wasn't Shinobi a Sega series? Or was this a whole new thing that's got the same title? I don't know. But looks like a game I'd like. And then Crash Entranced. I think I've got... I'll enjoy additional feature by connecting to Nintendo GameCube Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex. Oh, okay. So I need to get that game and just see what happens when you connect it to Wrath of Cortex. That'd be pretty cool. Spyro 2 Season Flame. So it's sequel to the hit Game Boy Advance game in 2001. Okay. And then, again, a couple people link cables on Game Boy Advance. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. No thanks. I hear that game. I hear Ghouls and Ghosts was just stupid hard, and I'd rather not. Lord of the Rings, play the greatest story ever written. Fellowship of the Ring for Game Boy Advance. So it's an RPG of the first movie. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then Minority Report, Treasure Planet, Robotech, the Macross Saga, SpongeBob Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I do have that game. Fairly Odd Parents, and Rocket Power Beach Bandits. So these, of course, were all made by THQ. So they were really busy in 2002. Game & Watch Gallery 4, just a classic compilation of the Game & Watch games, reskinned with Mario characters. I think you could play the original versions too, but naturally it's more fun to play the Mario versions, more colorful and all that, but it's the same game. Sega Smash Pack includes all three of the greatest Sega games together in one pack: Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, and Sonic Spinball. Huh, that's pretty cool. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 on Game Boy Advance, and SSX Tricky. Probably not good on Game Boy Advance, but I could be wrong. This could be somebody's favorite game. WrestleMania. I'm not too big on wrestling games, but I know they have their following. Madden 2003. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah, I'd probably enjoy that. I've never played a portable Street Fighter game. I've never, outside of like Smash Brothers on 3DS, I've never played a portable fighting game, like ever. And Smash Brothers is kind of a unique fighting game anyway. Justice League, Justice for All. Don't know anything about that one. Okay, so like miscellaneous stuff. See, there's a Yu-Gi-Oh game and a Dragon Ball Z collectible card game. So it's like, yeah, it's almost like the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Advance, but Dragon Ball Z characters, I guess. Rugrats, I Gotta Go Party. I don't think that sounds like a good game, but Maybe it is. I mean, I grew up on Rugrats. And then... I don't even know what this thing is. Oh, it's Hot Wheels. Okay. Well, it doesn't even have a title here. That's weird. Hot Wheels, though. Okay. Golden Sun. Oh, man, that was a game I've had in my hands so many times at like retro game stores. Like, oh yeah, I need to get Golden Sun. Because I have a feeling that was going to be a game that was going to get expensive. And, well, I would drop like $100 and not buy Golden Sun. So I still need to get that game. Yeah, I want that game, though. I hope it's not too expensive. We'll see. Maybe someday I'll get it. Dragon Ball Z, Legacy of Goku. Don't know anything about this game, but... I mean, it looks like... it looks alright. And then, of course, Game Boy Advances in their back pockets. Slide into a whole new level of play with the Nintendo e-reader cards. Oh man, I remember e-reader. I remember there was a neighbor had the e-reader, and like you can swipe cards to play like little mini games. I remember the ones the most on Pokemon cards, which I wonder if this will talk about that. So maybe I won't go into more detail. But yeah, you have these cards. And you have a little code thing there, and then you swipe it, and you can play like little mini games. Like I know that some of the NES games you can swipe 5 cards and play like the original Mario Brothers or something. Which I don't know why you need to swipe 5 cards. It's kind of dumb, but yeah. Mario's throwing another... So there was a Mario Party e-reader thing? Okay, so these are the NES games. So Donkey Kong Jr., Excite Bike, Pinball, Balloon Fight, Tennis, the original Mario Brothers, Baseball, the OG Donkey Kong, Ice Climber, and Urban Champion. Which I know that later releases of these games, you can play like bonus levels from these e-reader cards. Because there was like along with the original game, there was like bonus levels and stuff that you can play, and I know that on certain later releases they have these versions too, so there's some ways to play some of these levels. They're not completely lost, which is pretty cool. I think I would rather have just stuck to the original and not worry about extra levels, but I do like the appeal of extra levels if like the original Donkey Kong was your favorite game or whatever. Like I said, Mario Party E, I didn't know these existed at all. Animal Crossing e-cards, okay. I didn't know about these either, but I'm sure they're compatible with, yeah. Contains certain profiles and details on your favorite characters from the Animal Crossing game for Nintendo GameCube. That's pretty cool. You can also get, like, tips and hints and general banner every time you swipe. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then, of course, advertising the different colors of the GameCube. Naturally, this black one is the one that I got. Purple was kind of the standard. Silver was kind of... Camera shut off. Yeah, so, like I said, I got black. Purple was kind of the common one. And silver, or platinum they call it. That was kind of like the limited edition. But I remember there were a few kids that had that. So I don't know how limited it was. And naturally, I've got that one, and that's Lucky Orange, I call it. And then, of course, I got the jet black one that came with my GameCube. But yeah, that I adore this controller. I mean, GameCube controller is like one of the greatest controllers ever made, hands down. Period. But just I don't know. There's something about this Spice Orange, which Spice GameCube was like Japan only, but you might be able to get, well, naturally you could, because I got one. You could have gotten one in the States back in 2002, 3, whatever. Yeah, I just adore the GameCube. I took it for granted when I was younger because it was like the only console I had for a while, and I kind of got tired of it. But I mean, looking back with like nostalgia and all that stuff, GameCube's so good. There's so many amazing games, and it is probably one of my favorite consoles, period, of any company, Nintendo or not. I just adore the GameCube a lot. And then we got the Game Boy Advance. Glacier was the color that I had, but naturally Indigo was pretty common. I do like that Arctic one though, and the Platinum is really cool too. But I remember when my mom said that I was getting Game Boy Advance for my birthday, she joked and said I was getting the pink one, and I'm like, well, okay, at least it's a Game Boy Advance. And so when I unwrapped it and I had the Glacier one, I said, I thought you got me the pink one. She said, I was joking. You actually thought I would get you a pink Game Boy? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, good times. And then here's a page of accessories here. So naturally, controller, Wavebird, which is great. Talk to Citrus about Wavebirds. He loves Wavebirds, which I don't blame him. Wavebirds are pretty cool. The only issue is they don't have the rumble thing, which... Oh, to extend battery life, the Wavebird does not include a built-in rumble feature. Yeah. Which is kind of unfortunate, but I get it. Then, of course, the memory card. GameCube component, which I hear these are actually a little bit more common than they were back then. But people say that's the best way to hook up your GameCube, which mine's just standard RCA, but I don't know, maybe someday I'll get component. But then the Nintendo GameCube RF modulator, so basically you can hook it up through coax if you want. The Game Boy Advance cable, which I have that, and I thought that was how you can play Game Boy Advance games on your GameCube. That's not, but that's how you can do like when you how I mentioned that there are certain games that are compatible, like the Crash game that was compatible with Wrath Cortex and all that. You would put that Game Boy Advance game in your Game Boy Advance, and then use this cable to hook it up to the GameCube, and that's how you get those special features. I know that there was also a special feature in Wind Waker, which I don't remember if it was just by itself, like no game put in the Game Boy Advance slot or not on the Game Boy, but you get like Tingle can help you out on stuff, like the Tingle Tuner, I think they called it, something like that. It was a pretty cool feature. Okay, you got the broadband adapter, which I don't have that, or the modem. Were those even released in America? I don't remember. Game Boy Advance AC adapter set. I don't even know what that is. Oh, okay, no, those are for the Game Boy Advance. Okay, yeah, all of these are for GameCube, as you can see there, and now we've moved on to the Game Boy Advance stuff. Of course, link cable. Everybody who had a Game Boy Advance had a link cable. Oh, and then, of course, take home the Power, Nintendo Power, and one free player's guide. Ooh, that's pretty cool. You could subscribe. Well, back in the day, you could have subscribed there for $19.95 a year, it looks like. It's an amazing offer. 12 issues loaded of Nintendo Power for $19.95 for savings of over 60% off. 66% off. Ooh, okay. And then there is the last page there. And then on the back you have basically the buttons of the GameCube and the buttons of the Game Boy Advance. And for questions about Nintendo products or service, visit Nintendo.com or call that number. Yeah, there we go. This was a lot of fun. Just going through this book and just seeing all the games, going through my memories of what Nintendo 2002, 2003 was like. GameCube was amazing, and Nintendo in 2002 was, it was such a good year for GameCube and Nintendo and video games as a whole. Yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. I just wanted to go through this, have just a chill video talking about retro games. I mean, that's what we do on this channel, is we talk about video games. I mean, naturally play video games, but sometimes it's fun to just talk about games and just look through old advertisements of like what games were new and coming out. Oh, so cool. So, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and hit that bell so you're notified when another video comes out, whether it's a game that you saw in here that you want me to play, or or it's an unboxing video, or I do another one of these, because I've got a few more of these booklets I can go through if you guys want me to do summer of 2003, winter 2003, winter of 2005, and I've got some stuff in the like 2010s decade, like 13, 14, stuff like that. So if you want to see some of that too, let me know, and we can look through other points in video game history through stuff like that. And who knows, maybe I'll get like more books down the line that we can go through like this. I mean, this one's pretty small, that's why I was able to do it. Yeah, so like I said, if you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the bell and all that stuff. You can also follow me on Facebook, where I basically post the same stuff that you see here on Facebook, but it's just another place you can watch it. But if I get a little bit bigger, then we can do some interaction type stuff, more than just what I can do on YouTube. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll do like polls or whatever of what games you want me to play, or something like that. Yeah, I also have an Instagram where I talk about a video game and be like, oh, here's this video game, front, back, disc, all that stuff, and a little bit of history about it, and what's your favorite memories with this game, stuff like that. And yeah, I don't post a lot because I always forget I have it, but I have one. You can follow me on it. I also have a Discord. I am a lot more active on Discord than pretty much everything else. So if you want to join my little community of nerds and talk about Nintendo and video games and anime, Pokemon, post memes, whatever, just let me know. Just say I want to join your Discord. I'll be like, cool, here's an invite, and you get to join our little community of nerds, where we just have fun, hang out, nerd out. That's all I really had to say. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back to 2002. It was a great year, and maybe you'll think so too. For those who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to all of you. If you don't, I still hope you have a great day tomorrow anyway. Spend some time with your family, if you're able to. Friends, family, just have a nice day tomorrow. I hope everybody has a nice day tomorrow. Anyway, that's all I really have to say, so thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.